near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job. Hot wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash Brent, good morning on a Thursday morning.
Just warning you.
Wednesday.
Just warning you. He's had at least one tumbler of coffee.
I have.
That's all I'm telling you.
Drank more pre-show than I've ever drank.
He's a little,
Woo, doggy.
A little anxious this morning. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Feed. I went down yesterday and I got my pre-emergent. I had told you to look for a brand like Crew and all that. I went down and talked to Jackie Parsons and they hooked me up. I mean, there's no exaggeration needed. She said, yeah, we've got it. We've got what you need. I said, okay. She goes,
it's in the back.
It's in the Quonset. I go, the Quonset? She goes, yeah. And we walked through the normal feed store warehouse. It's beautiful. Look, all these different stacked up types of feeds and supplements and things. And as we went out the back door, she made some kind of, it wasn't guttural, but it was a sound from nature. It was like, oh, she made some kind of a sound. And
turkeys and chickens went running.
Well, and the guys popped up like, hey, what's up? She goes, that's my backyard sound. Yeah, it's like her call to them.
Children from the corn?
Well, something like that. And she told me that I needed a product, I think I'm pronouncing it right, called Balan. It's not Indian. Patel, it's not. Balan. And that is the pre-emergent. She said, I'm going to put it down, this weekend. And then I'll put it down again 90 days later. And then I'll apply it in October. And she was like, kind of looking around like, yeah, this is the stuff you need. This is it. And then they put it in the back of my car, and the bag is the most nondescript.
Yeah.
There's no marketing. It's like new, improved. There's none of that.
No. It
is industrial grade lawn napalm.
Wow, they haven't had to improve it since they made it. It was that good.
That's right. Kills everything. I'm doing some double check on how much I have to water it in. You put it on the lawn with a broadcast spreader. You water it in, you have no sticker burrs. But I want to make sure that I don't end up with like all the feathers falling out of my chickens. So I've got to check on that.
Or all your chickens falling out of life.
They'll come out, they'll eat it all. Yeah. And then they may have a pre-emergent issue. So the Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the unbelievable resource that is AT Deerland Feed. 68 degrees in Victoria, partly cloudy skies, heading to, it'd be just like yesterday. High of 82. Yesterday was supposed to be a high of 80. It's a good day. All the kids
quite
were running
got there.
track.
It was a nice day yesterday. It was UHV nice. Softball throttled Shriner yesterday.
We did a bit
run ruled them in both.
Did they show up with their fez on and the little
They rode in their mini cars.
And like 9 of them get out of the mini car. It's hard to take them serious.
It was kind of hard to take them serious.
You got to be able to drink at an elite level. You have to drink at an elite level to go from being a Mason to being a Shriner.
Junior wants everybody to know he has to pee.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess that he drank a lot.
Junior, yeah, get that microphone over a little bit. We need to make it a little bit hotter for him. He's coming in like a little. So we're trying an experiment, and I want your feedback. If you guys say ixnay to Commander Cody, then he's just out. I mean, it's that easy.
It's that easy.
But he's got the opportunity at times to chime in.
And so do I.
Yeah, we have a mute button.
I have a mute button.
Or turn it.
There it is.
All we told him was don't interrupt and less is more. Yeah. But I mean, if he was Vanna White,
he'd have a camera.
We'd have a camera for him.
Mark Kurtz, first one in. Greg Garcia, Ricky King on the podium. Good morning, everybody. Daniel Wade White checking in. Marvin Mickish, Patrick Strauss.
Pete Strauss.
Thompson, David Glass, Sherry Jacobs. Good morning. Bobby Leister. nursing his Caldo hangover. Stephanie Conti, Tammy Keeling, Mark Zapata, Scott Snow, Judge Posey. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Linda Chris, Junior Samples, Lisa Poole, Heather Stewart, Jordan, Kendra Douglas, Sheriff Lauterbach. Good morning. Tammy Williams, Wendy Garcia, Justin Glass, Jordan Glass, Sarah Elkins, Jenny Alvarez, James Kurth, Buddy Stavanoa, Scott Tomko. Yes, Cody Speaks.
B. Small says, oh, yeah, you'll get our feedback. That's what I'm talking about. What is that Jim Rome says? Have a take and do not suck. You can add whatever you want as long as it's good. Feel some pressure.
There's Dottie Bitterly. James Kerr says he was invited to be a Shriner, but his liver wasn't ready for that.
Right? We just had a pre-show, probably 15-minute just casual conversation with our state rep, Sheriff A.J. Lauterbach, and it's on right now in Austin, folks. There is some
he gave
politicking
us a
going
huge
on.
Insider update onto the flag football game that was played among.
Yes, he had a couple of receptions. I did hear through the grapevine that he dropped one ball, but I think we're going to blame that on the quarterback who used to be a running back. So it's not really. It's hard.
Yeah,
it tells you something it tells you the intensity of the game when an out of the game for 10-year college running back is the quarterback for the freshman.
And the freshman won.
The freshman won, which is first time in 30 years. Partly because Sheriff Lauterbach demanded.
Which tells me over the years, maybe the freshman kind of gave them a pass.
Right, but not now.
Not now. No, they're not politicking this thing anymore.
It's carnivore. They're on it. Buddy Stavanoa comes in, says the Jags baseball team is number 15 in the NAI poll.
Nice. I had not seen the poll yet.
So I think they're going to climb those ranks. I think this is a special year.
Which is interesting. Well, I'd be curious to see, but we beat the 13 and 14 teams, or we took 3 of 4 from the 13 and 14th ranked teams last weekend, and we only get to 15.
Oh, you sound like an Aggie. You
I would
sound
have
like
thought
an
we should have
Aggie.
been at least 13.
Quit grappling. Well, where were you before? Not
Receiving
ranked.
votes.
Yeah, right. You're receiving votes. So they bounce you up there.
Yeah, at least 10
They
points.
give
if
you
not
credit
more.
for winning. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just
It's
teasing.
it
There's
was
Andrew
very,
Alvarez.
very-
Good morning.
That was very Aggie. We beat a team so we beat Alabama, and 2 years ago they won a championship, and Georgia beat them, and Georgia's number 1. We should probably be like number 3. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
that's the
that
logic I was using.
Aggie logic.
Sports fan logic.
Sooner or later, they're the only team I know that can lose a game and think they should move up in the polls. Which, by the way, right now, Patrick Strauss is upset with me. So I'm gonna throw it.
Alabama and Georgia were the same way back when they were winning championships.
P. Strauss, question for you, serious. I'll look for your comment in the section. It's kind of a lead in to the First State Bank of Louise Astros Minute. I'm getting to the point where I'm really starting to get the feeling that the Astros they've never taken down their 6-year, $156 million offer to Alex Bregman that we now realize the market is telling us may have been high. It may have been high.
Well, reportedly he has a $180 million offer from the Toronto Blue Jays,
but when you break it all
then
back
you gotta live in
down,
Toronto.
it's also it's a wash financially.
No, it's not. You get paid in American dollars.
No,
and
they were
American
saying
dollars
that the taxes and all that would make it almost, because we have no state income tax in Texas. Here's my deal. I'm not moving my family, leaving a city that loves me, unless there's something behind the scenes.
Well, you don't have to move the family. They can stay behind. You go play ball like Randy Johnson used to do. He still lives in the Phoenix area, and he used to live wherever he lived when he played ball.
Ash, we were so close.
To what?
To him leaving.
Bregman?
No, you.
Why would I leave?
You said you weren't moving your family.
All right, there we go. That just did it.
That's it. He ditched him. There's my mom. Good morning, Mom. Hope you're doing good. Mom has a vested interest. She wants to keep Alex Bregman. She likes the Astros.
Greg Garcia says the whole Bregman situation is annoying. Sign with another team or sign with the Astros.
Well, see, I agree with that. You don't need to make the whole offseason about you, because when you show up, if you're Alex Bregman, you're going to show up in April and you're going to hit 215 for the first 4 months of the season. Oh, he got his money. Now he can't play.
He can't play the first 2 months of any season in recent history.
But then he hits like 340 to finish with a 270 average.
Yeah, and 15 home runs or whatever it is, 25 home runs and 85 RBIs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to address that one.
I don't know. I'll read it, Tammy,
There's
because
Melissa Hanson.
I'll read it
Check
because
it
I
out.
love you, Tammy. Senate Bill 2, vouchers, passed out of the Senate yesterday, in which some senators turn themselves into pretzels and ignore fiscal notes to justify public dollars for private privilege. That's the key phrase for me that leaves me.
Yeah.
My ears are still bleeding. I keep coming back.
Mine are too, and we're going to play some Chuck Schumer that'll make your ears bleed later too.
Yeah, I've had multiple legislators.
Where's the private privilege? Where's the
That's the question.
These kids aren't in private school.
That's right.
So there's no private privilege.
No, and I've had people tell me,
And I haven't seen the bill, so I may be wrong, but I have heard that kids who are already in private school
don't get it. They don't
not going to get the money.
No, it's only, here's the deal. What Brad Buckley told me point blank is that the whole concept is to find that it's not DEI, although Tammy, I would think you'd be doing backflips over this concept. Find that one underprivileged black kid in the ward in Houston who really is the next George Washington Carver, and let's get that kid enrolled in Jesuit. That honestly is what they're after. They want to make sure that the best and brightest have the opportunities to develop their education regardless of the district they happen to be born into. I have a hard time arguing with that. I can take you to Houston. Tammy, you know this. That all schools are not created equal. VISD is an educational mecca compared to a number of schools in the Houston area. And if I had a special student, but I just didn't have the means to move to a more affluent neighborhood where the schools are better, I would be welcoming this. Oh, please, especially if I'm a good parent, please help me get a voucher. I am paying taxes, and my kid is in public school. I really want my kid to go to a private school because he's super smart. Now you're coming in with problems. See, kids who are in private school can get the money under Senate Bill 2. $10,000 won't. What is that?
Oat for?
Yeah, I understand $10,000 won't pay for Jesuit, but also Jesuit has scholarships and all
but
that.
10,000 won't pay for St. Joe here either.
No, it won't. No, it won't. And Heather Stewart says, good luck with that. It's been attempted repeatedly in other states, and it does not work. It's not how it works.
I was reading a opinion piece, and I can't remember where I saw it. So forgive me for the fact check error. But
Are we somehow not on the radio?
it looked like it was on here. It's not on.
Welcome,
actually.
all you folks on
Jared
Magic
McCurgan.
95.9.
But basically it said the problem in the United States is compared to other countries like India, and don't get me wrong, India is not where I'm looking here for the mecca of public schools.
Right, right.
But we ignore the basis of this opinion article was we basically ignore.
I'm going to get to that.
Private schools don't have to take poor Johnny or any special needs child,
It's true. It's true.
but poor Johnny shows up with a $10,000 voucher, they're going to take the kid. They may not take the special needs kid, and here's the reason why. They don't have the tools and the teachers to deal with the special needs kids. So it's not that they don't.
And the government, by the way, wants to prescribe how you deal with the special needs kid. And I really want to consider not mainstreaming all these special needs kids. Maybe you need to create a special needs school. I don't want to
Like the Vine
stigmatize
School?
anybody. Yes.
Imagine that. The Vine School, private school, seems to have really done a good job in this community of providing an educational opportunity for students who don't seem to fit and thrive in our public schools.
True story.
And if kids can get vouchers so more kids can go there and Vine School can provide what they do to more kids, hey, all the better. But this article basically said in the United States, whereas other countries, even though the rest of their education system might be crap, They take the really smart kids and give them every advantage.
Amen. And we should too. It
And
should not
instead,
be.
in the United States, we have those kids with the 130 plus IQs or whatever.
And they're remedial algebra.
And we do not cater to them.
Yeah, you cater to the
lower
best and brightest.
everything to the lowest
Amen.
denominator.
And see, now that runs contra with the left political agenda. But I think you identify your best and brightest, and you tailor education around those kids, and then you let everybody else have an education as well. Patrick Strauss with a really solid comment. Really, y'all let Tammy get y'all out of sports talk in a heartbeat with her vouchers. But it is important. And by the way, that was not the First State Bank of Louise minute. We will come back to that.
Heather Stewart says, we used to have schools for those kiddos and they were shut down because everyone demanded they be mainstream.
Right,
We used to
there's-
have classes inside of schools for
Right.
if you didn't have a whole bunch of special needs kids for special needs kids.
Well, I can just tell you, with no offense to anybody intended, you can't cater your education system to the mentally challenged, or you're never going to excel globally. You've got to cater. It only makes sense to cater your education to the best and brightest, and over time, everybody will gravitate to the top. Otherwise, you'll see what we've done as a country. We try to make every child have the same experience. Even the fat girls get to be cheerleaders. So the next thing you know, everybody's a winner, but we're all losers. That's how that works. So there you go. Tammy Keeling says 1 billion public tax dollars without any transparency for how they are spent.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I thought every district was pretty transparent with how they spent it.
I know ours is. Tammy Keeling set the rules. She was on the school board for 47 years. She set those rules. Take a break.
I still don't think we're doing enough for property tax relief, but that's another topic.
Well, that's because you're a taxpayer. You're greedy and you're biased.
Yeah.
USA Concrete Coatings. Hey, let's talk about USA Foundation Repair. How about they come out and level your home? How about you've got those cracks as the winter ends and the spring starts? They come out, they level it back up. You can paint, caulk, get some of that 3/4 inch caulk, put it back in there. Boom, your house is level again. Veracruz Restaurant, today's the day after.
It is.
Called a Wednesday.
It's Thursday.
Get in there. You can even have a chicken fried steak at lunch. Go home with some bloat and take a nap. Best Mexican food in town. It's amazing. You used to have Tex-Mex. This is Amerimex.
Yeah.
Americans. Get in there. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. It's your go-to tow-to. Allen's there when you need them. You got a problem on the highways and byways, stay out of the ditch, stay on the shoulder, stay in your car, put on your flashers, and dial 578-6300. Compadre's designed to help you promote your business. There's a myriad ways they do it, and that's almost like 1 million. Get with them. Let them help you. They can wrap a vehicle. They can change your logo. They do all kinds of things. Paravita Wellness, get in and get healthy. Yesterday was job fair day, but don't worry. If you want to be in restaurant management, get by. The new Vita Cafe is about to open.
Yeah, go talk to Erica.
Go talk to
she'll
Erica.
Still interview you, and if she's got a place for you, she'll put you to work.
Airline in Laurent, she is hiring. And Palace Bingo next Thursday, the 13th.
A week from today.
Get ready to tee it up with the boys from Wade and Carter. It's going to be a good time.
Wait.
I'm sure you are excited.
Adam Daughtry checking in. Will Vincent, good morning.
Yep. Adam Daughtry checking back in. You getting that feeling he might start running for some office?
Sounds like it.
That's what they do. You know, I joked with Wes Coley the other day, the East High School baseball coach. I saw him at church. He's there often, but I never miss a chance to,
especially during the season.
Yeah, and I said, oh, yeah, I can tell it's spring. The head baseball coach is back in church. He said, yeah, no kidding. No kidding. We should have a good team, but we need all the prayers we can get.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, man. What?
Chuck, if you're going to play Chuck, let's see what he said.
Oh, yeah. Well.
There you go.
Oh, Cody.
What made Chuck Schumer stop like 2 or 3 inches short on those hair plugs?
I don't know.
I mean, he's got like a 7 head.
Here's what's more appalling when I'm watching Chuck Schumer speak on the floor of the Senate. He's the only one there.
Yeah, there's nobody. There's literally nobody behind.
Where the hell are all the senators that we elected to be in Washington, D.C., and he's speaking to an empty house?
They know he's an idiot. He's just reading something into the record. They
Yeah.
do that quite often. They'll go down late at night and get something read into the record.
Get the janitor to let him in the door.
Yeah.
He's so mad at Elon Musk, and all I can think is it's unraveling for all of these folks who have been writing graft into all these spending measures.
Yes, sir.
And we're finding out where it's going. And presidents don't know. And I'll give you an example yesterday. You talked, I think, a little bit earlier about this. President Trump signed an executive order that basically gets us or removes us from the UN Human Rights Council, right?
Right.
Some guy comes in and basically gives us a synopsis of what he's signing, and he signs it.
And
that guy could be lying his ass off to Trump, and Trump wouldn't know because presidents don't have the time to read entire bills and pieces of paper. It's just the way it is. You trust these folks, and I think that's been the way it's been for a long time.
Well, in the Biden administration, you would sign that order to remove yourself from the human rights and appropriate $40 million to Morocco for the study of pottery. True. I mean, that's how it would be.
Yeah, but they leave that part out when they tell you about it, and then the president signs it off. And this has been going on for decades and decades. So Schumer, mad at Elon Musk.
He's mad. He's angry.
I kind of like the fact that Elon's out there every time there's a discovery, he's putting it out there.
Yep.
What can be more transparent than that? But they're trying to make it seem like Elon is a rogue Nazi agent.
Yeah, they called him a black congresswoman the other day called him a rogue Nazi repo guy. And I'm thinking, if somebody even alluded, you call a white guy a Nazi. I mean, to me, if you're not careful, it is almost kind of racist. I mean, it's like that's like calling,
Certainly.
I don't know what it would be like calling a black person, because I try not to disparage people simply for being black. I can usually find another reason.
You label somebody a Nazi enough times, you probably have an opportunity to go sue them for.
Yeah. So,
slander.
Of course, Elon doesn't need to sue anybody because he's already worth $400 billion. He's going to win 30,000 from him. See what Schumer says.
Yeah, and I won't play the whole thing, but it's interesting.
Here's what Musk said. Quote, hysterical reactions like this is how you know that DOGE is doing work that really matters.
Amen.
Absolutely, that's exactly how you know DOGE is doing work that really matters.
The fact that they're all in a bunch is how you know that he's doing good work.
Now listen to Schumer try and weasel his way out of this.
In that quote, this is the one shot American people have to defeat bureaucracy and restore democracy. Give me a break. Nothing screams democracy like having a secret squad of company men pull off a hostile takeover of America's Social Security and tax information in the dead of night.
Hasn't happened, and it's not secret in the dark. They're being as transparent as they can be. Elon's putting it out on Twitter every time they come up with something. This is the BS and the deflection that the left and people like Schumer, he's the narcissist.
Oh, he's a terrible human being.
This is the garbage that people like this will do. They will accuse Elon Musk of doing everything they've done. This has been the least transparent government in the last, I don't know how many decades. And it goes back. It's not just the Biden administration. They were bad. This stuff was happening under the first Trump administration. It certainly was happening under Obama. And then it was happening under Bush, Clinton. You go all the way back, Reagan.
All of them.
All of them.
They've just been mushrooming the expansion of government.
That's democracy? No openness? No.
It's very
democracy is we elected a president to do what he said he was going to do, and now that he's doing it, you call it anti-democratic, Schumer.
Yeah.
Nobody can run against you in your New York Senate district because you've got it so locked down with all the graft you've been giving everybody in there who controls the votes.
Their biggest complaint, Ash, has been if Elon Musk has access to everybody's social security number.
Shh, little secret for you. It's all out there on the dark web, people.
Right. If he has access to that,
Remember in the summer we reported hundreds of millions
he can manipulate voting.
of social security numbers were released on the dark web?
Yeah. He can't manipulate voting.
No. Like almost every American social security number is on the dark web.
Right.
And you don't think Elon's smart enough to go get it there if he really wanted it?
Hearings, no discussion, no hearing the other side from a small group of limited people who have limited backgrounds, who probably don't even know about the programs they're cutting and how they actually work.
Neither
Whatever
do you,
DOGE
Schumer.
is doing
Yeah, neither does Chuck.
is
Chuck doesn't
certainly
know about it.
not what democracy looks like or has ever looked like in the grand history of this country.
And there
Because-
is the problem, Chuck, because to be honest, when we used to just take care of the appropriations, spending on our military and the things that we had to spend on, we didn't have these problems. After the slush fund that became income tax in World War I, all we've done is spend, spend, spend. Tariffs actually used to cover most of the bills for this country. Now our income tax doesn't even pick up the yearly debt.
But I do want you to think about this. These guys, these idiots like Chuck Schumer, they oversee the largest corporation on the planet. No other government, no private business, none of them have any comparison to the revenue that is brought in to the federal government of the United States. Nobody's even close. And these guys can't make it work. Go up here and let's, I want to see what was said about Bill Posey. Because I may have to get to the bottom of this. I'm not opposed to it. Okay, I'm just going to call Bill Posey. I can do that. I'm not afraid of that Navy SEAL when he's across town.
He might be at Ramsey's eating breakfast. You
Well,
know?
I'll straight call him out at Ramsey's. I just want to know what the deal is. I feel like America's concierge. I get so many calls about, can you give me so-and-so's number? And I usually say yes.
Yeah, and then he calls me and goes, hey, you got so-and-so's number? And then I get it to you.
Absolutely. See if that phone's ringing on the blue.
Oh, yeah, wrong one. One ringy-dingy.
Carter,
Bill Posey, you got a minute? You're live on Wade and Carter. You have a minute for us?
all day for you, brother.
Are you at Ramsey's? What are you doing?
Of course. I love Egyptian food. I'm
So-
at Ramsey.
I'm reading right here. Here's a quote. I'll give you the quote, and then we'll work from there. It's from Tammy Keeling. Says Bill Posey, former DOD civil servant. Boy, that you talk about. That's kind of a broad. That's like saying Bill Posey, former peacekeeper.
Yeah, that's almost disrespectful.
That's
Tammy.
almost a lack of not seeing the big picture. Had good comments about Musk and DOGE. Now, I've already gotten it through the grapevine that you've been taken to task all the way up to family members taking you to task over what appears to be your anti-Elon Musk situation with this attack on civil servants and on government workers. And give me the Cliff's Notes of where you're at, because I just think the country and certainly our public is begging to know what our favorite Navy SEAL has to say with empathy towards these folks losing their free ride.
So here's the deal. I worked for the government and the Navy for 22 and a half years. I worked for the Census Bureau and other different things. So I worked for a long time for the federal government. And as a naval officer, I knew how to play the game because everything in the Navy has an instruction. So if somebody tells you to do something and it's an unlawful order, all you have to do is quote the instruction. No, this is against instruction 1005, and I can't do it. Okay,
Right.
and I was caught in one of those situations. that I didn't want to do it, and I just quoted chapter and verse, and they got nowhere to go.
Right.
Okay? So my point is there's a process. Should they fire USAID? Every one of them. But they should follow the process. You know, you give them 30 days notice, da-da-da-da-da. You just follow the process, then you're good because there's rules.
We did see today where 20,000 government workers have accepted Donald Trump's buyout.
That was last night's number. I just saw this morning it's up to 40,000.
So 40,000.
Because there's a midnight tonight deadline to accept the offer.
It tells me two things about those 40,000 people.
The buyout's a really good offer.
The buyout's a good offer, but they're not deeply vested and committed to their service to the country, right? Because they're like, oh, nah, you know, and they're also expendable. I mean, it's 40,000 people that we won't miss in Victoria, Texas.
They're choosing to walk away because they know they can either go get another government job somewhere else with a state agency, or they'll be hireable in the private sector, or they'll go be lobbyists.
And Bill, with all due respect, knowing that you could kill me 14 different ways with your thumb alone. In fact, a cage match.
And his eyes closed.
A cage match is being orchestrated between you and State Rep, House District 30 Rep, AJ Louderback. And AJ said he wants none of it based simply on the weight class differential. But I wanted to ask you, is it fair that the empowerment that Trump has given to the Department of DOGE, government, whatever expending.
Sure.
Is it fair that those folks don't get, I mean, the military doesn't owe you due process. You know, there's a big difference between the way the military doles out justice, for example, and the way the private sector does. Is it fair that the president is coming in and saying, hey, some of these folks have just simply got to go? I've found, and I know you agree on this, that it seems like USAID has become kind of a catch-all for pet projects. And, you know, the big issue that we've heard here is that government can appropriate funds for a program, but the question is, can they force the president to spend those funds? And if the answer ends up in court being no, you can't make the president spend the money that way, then...
Or he flat out doesn't want to spend it, and it just goes into some holding account.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of ways around that. My whole thing is that if you're I truly believe this because I was a civil servant. I worked for the Department of Defense for 7 years.
Key word, you worked.
You did work.
I worked. No, I worked really hard because I really believed in what I did. I want the Korean SEALs to be as efficient as the U.S. SEALs, and we would have cross-training constantly. So I really believed in the system, and I really tried to do a good job. But there's a process, and if you use the process, then nobody has any complaint about it, you know? But don't just go in there roughshod like Elon's doing and treating everybody like some scab that works over there for Instagram or X or whatever, because all those people just work for the money. They don't believe in the cause, and just treat the federal employees with a little respect. Follow the process. You can do it in 90 days or less. Just follow the process and treat them fair. And there's a reason I'm saying this is because this last time in Victoria County, we got 71% of the vote for Donald Trump. I want to continue that. I don't want to be people so pissed off at the Republican Party that they don't vote Republican anymore, because I think what we do in the Republican Party is wonderful.
See, now I'll go with you on that.
I'm very selfish there.
You're kind of sounding a little bit like our buddy Woodrow Wilson Wagner, who said, hey, my job is not to promote the entire Democratic platform. My job is to get Democrats elected in Victoria County. And
absolutely.
And so with that said, I could see your opinion and position being adaptable, because you're like, hey, this is going to upset everybody.
Hurt us. Yeah.
I don't think it is, though, because the president's approval rating is going up.
Yeah, but in Victoria County, when you go raid Jalisco's, I mean, come on.
Don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with
Come
that.
on. I mean,
But you know
Jalisco's.
what? But Bill, who'd they go get? They weren't just pulling people off out of the kitchens for working here illegally. They were getting
I
folks
thought-
that had some serious issues,
And
off
they
the
haven't
street.
gotten many to begin with. I find it hilarious that I was visiting with a great friend of mine yesterday, happens to be Hispanic, and it does matter that he's Hispanic because the main reason that he's upset, he's a fifth generation Texan, but
Sure,
he's
of course.
upset because his taco restaurant's closed down.
Yeah.
But
And
you know
then
what?
Not only
But you know what? If we want to go after the if we're going to go after the illegals, we have to go after the employers as well.
I agree with
they're
that.
employing
We've always
them,
agreed on that.
Then that's just part of it. But my understanding is that wasn't the priority. They're going after people who actually have some serious convictions, whether here or back home. That's who they're finding.
Yeah.
At least that's
was
my
Trump's-
understanding.
That was Trump's promise. We're going to go after the bad guys. The last time I went to Jalisco's, I didn't see any bad guys.
How do you
Okay,
know though?
come
But
on.
you can't tell by
I,
looking
no,
at
I do agree
Come
with
on.
Bill on this. I agree with Bill on this. If it's
It's
indiscriminate,
not right.
you don't want to
Yeah.
go to the restaurants and find just the low-hanging fruit because it
Yeah.
sounds to me
Yeah.
like they're looking for a body count. We've captured,
Absolutely.
you
If
know,
17 in Victoria County, Matt pushes them over the top, I'm
Yeah.
not buying
Yes.
it.
yeah,
I'm not buying
with
it.
you.
We don't know
It's
they're
just INS being lazy. That's what it is. They
I don't
wanted the
disagree
body
with
count.
that. I look at that as a small aside, a nuance. And number
Yeah.
one, I also don't think I could see the director of ICE saying, "Hey, we need to get some of these people. We need to get to these restaurants. We need some numbers. I want some immediate numbers." I could see that happening.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
but yes. Anyway, I just wanted to call you out just because I know I can without offending you. And, and
no, you
thank
can't
you for your
offend me.
time. What are you having today at Ramsey's?
We're giving the pyramid.
Pancake with a couple of slices of bacon. It's excellent this morning.
There you go. Well, have a great day, and we love you, sir.
Hey, we
Bill.
love you guys.
Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Thanks.
So that's Bill Posey. You can listen to Bill Posey on Magic 95.9 from 6:15 to 7. He pays for the full hour, but he's like,
I don't need it
I
all.
just want 45 minutes. Yeah.
Judge Posey says I'm one of those relatives, and I still say Victoria is not exempt. Here's the problem.
Judge, we heard.
Yeah,
we did hear that there was a little bit of a yes. And I love it.
But here's the problem I have with how does Bill know these folks aren't bad? They might be trying to hide in a kitchen,
But in
working a job.
stereotype, yeah, come on. You think the crack dealers hiding out at Jalisco's? I mean,
Yeah, if they're
I don't.
yeah.
I don't. I'm saying that I think that's low hanging fruit. Like, for example, it's not
They
even
raided 2 restaurants. That's low hanging fruit.
Yeah, it's
we
not
have
even
how
a
many
joke.
thousands of Mexican restaurants in this town?
well, if they raid the rest, they'll find more. I mean, that is the truth.
But they're not raiding
those
the
aren't the
rest, and
ones
they're
you
not
wanna
finding
get.
more.
Right. They just wanted a quick hit.
No, I don't believe that. They got some people out of here that we needed to get out of this community.
You think so?
Yes, I do.
Did they all go, well, it's like SWAT?
I don't know. I didn't see the rays go down. I don't know how they did it.
Like throwing in the shot grenade into the kitchen. Yeah.
See, that's how I know you're wrong.
Because Tammy agrees with me.
Yes.
Yeah. And now I'm starting to question myself. I was so adamant, but then Tammy says, I agree. It's a lazy body count. And I hope that fear will have folks self-deport. I'll
agree with that. Yeah.
I do.
No,
That's what they wanted to do is self-deport and employers hire appropriately. You'll know Zed Stewart, solid point. Pedophiles are cooks too. All right, so solid points. And don't get me wrong,
Are these restaurants owned by the cartels too, or financed by them?
so here we go. So in the same breath that I'll tell you that I believe these folks are low-hanging fruit, you got a little asterisk by that says Carter also says, if they're lawbreakers, round them up. Get them out of here.
They broke the law getting in here. Micah Patton asked, "Do you walk past the misdemeanor warrants to only arrest the felony ones?"
I agree, Michael Patton.
But that's the mindset the Democrats have tried to brainwash America with. Well, they're only coming here for a better life. They didn't really break the law when
that's
they
a
came
lie.
here.
That's a lie. The impact, the feedback is instant. No such thing as a lazy body count. Illegal is illegal. Just being here. If I heard you agree with Tammy, you're wrong. Solid. Tammy, really, you're like the anti-Wade Carter.
Kelly Fromme asked the question, do we actually know what kind of people were arrested in these raids? No,
No,
because
we
we
don't.
haven't found any of that out because
Solid point.
for some reason, this has been the cloak of secrecy. Forget the DOGE transparency. This has been the least transparent thing to go on in Victoria County in a long time.
Yeah.
We don't know who they've raided, what they've done.
H.R. Mallory says, remember what they say about assumptions. You may be right, but you may also be wrong. You don't have all the details, which, by the way, H.R. Mallory may have all the details.
Well, you know what they're mad about?
He's with the high command.
What they're mad about is the mass overreaction by all the other illegals working in Mexican restaurants that basically forced all the other Mexican restaurants in town to close down because nobody showed up for work. So nobody could get their breakfast taco. That's what they're mad about. And not two restaurants. Two restaurants in this community don't make a difference. All the other restaurants had to close down or seriously curtail their operations. Shouldn't say all, a majority of,
Right.
including one I frequent, not a sponsor of this show, because their employees didn't go to work.
Michelle Wilson Hawkins says, our builders are probably nervous that they'll be losing their workers. I guarantee you there ain't as much concrete being poured this week.
Well, it's a good thing there's no affordable housing being built here anyway.
Right. Tammy Keeley says it's a badge of honor to be the anti-Wade Carter. I like that. Junior Sample says, state your source. Brian Small adds, my neighbor's Chihuahua was taken the other day. You know, that's a good analogy. If Judge Posey gets after Bill Posey, that's like a Chihuahua getting after a Mastiff.
Are you dying over there? I turned your mic
Commander,
off because
can you
all I
put your
kept
mic? Can
hearing.
you get your
but,
mic back in front?
I
of you?
mean, if you're not feeling well, you don't have to stay here for us, man. I mean, you sound like no. You want to repeat that, please?
the Chestnut Furniture Health Update.
Yeah, please repeat that for the judge. The judge couldn't hear you.
I feel okay. I just have some sign.
You don't sound okay at all.
I will tell you. I will tell you because I have.
and I'm looking over at him. He's hanging his head.
I'm not bound by HIPAA.
Sweating.
I'm not bound by HIPAA, nor am I opposed to exposing
Nor are you a
ignorance.
doctor.
Our own Commander Cody, the other day, we had encouraged him to go because this is a fairly small space and he's a fairly large man. And I was thinking, if the commander is breathing on this, we could all end up with something, contagious. So we sent the commander to get a COVID test. And as he walked the aisles, the commander grabbed the box. His eyes are watering. You can picture the scene. His nose is dripping. He got the postnasal drip.
And he's from Arkansas.
He's from
and
Arkansas.
We just revealed that 60% of eighth graders can't read at grade level.
And
So
he-
there's some excuses built in here.
He grabbed the test box and completed the test and was informed that he did not indeed have syphilis. And this is a true story. So he called to report
He was probably
to us.
trying to figure out why he had to swab somewhere other than his nose when he got the test
didn't,
box.
Because the new
The new COVID.
the new small intestine test is the most accurate for COVID. I'm like, well, I'm glad because if you had that drip, I'm glad it wasn't syphilis. Let's just put it that way. But at any rate, he does not. He is syphilis free and COVID free.
So we have to go back and get the COVID test.
We better take a break because we're in the ditch. We've already talked about Allen's Record Service. Chesnick Furniture. Get in and see why you just always do better at Chesnick. Chesnick and Love make your house a home.
He's shaking his head, but
He's-
he wanted to be part of this show.
He knew that was part of
Yeah,
it.
I
He
know.
knew that not defecation. Deprecation is part of the show. White Trash Services.
They would clean the White House.
They would. They could do it well. They could also haul off anything on the back. If you've ever been to the White House, there's more portable buildings around that than there is at a public school. It's crazy. It's just there's security tents and all kinds of stuff, buffet trailers. It's all at the White House. Go to DC. You owe it to yourself to see the chaos. White Trash Site Services will come out and give you a roll-off dumpster. White Trash Services will do that. Load it up, spring cleaning, they'll come back and haul it off. Atzenhofer and Atzenhofer.com, your next new car,
Or gently pre-owned.
gently pre-owned. Yes,
But new to you.
they've got it.
They do got it.
Atzenhofer, making big deals, stacking them deep, selling them cheap. Selling cars like candy bars.
Yeah,
Just
they
down the
are.
road from higher prices on the Navarro Motor Mile. Been there forever. They were in North Victoria when they were built. Now they're downtown. Reach out to Atzenhofer today. Arcade Development Group. They still pour concrete. They still build metal buildings, barns, barn
That's
dominiums.
what they specialize in.
Find them on Facebook, RK Development Group, and then brand us, Commander Cody. He will come out to you syphilis free.
He might just call it in today. It might be a Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting today.
He could
Doesn't want to infect you.
People say insured, bonded, syphilis free. Commander
He's
Cody.
got the little sticker. Most people get I voted. I'm free. It says.
Syphilis free.
Yeah. Went services for all your electrical needs. Don't forget to give the folks at Went a call for anything that you need. That is electrically
Or emergency plumbing.
Yeah.
Call
They
Went
can-
Services
they
for
can
your
do that.
next Generac, your only Generac generator.
And don't forget the Dollar Floor Store for all your great flooring products at steep discounts, and you'll support a great Texas-owned business. There's Randy Gutenberger checking in. Good to see you, sir.
It's a good time to remind you, if you don't have a copy of the book, Managing Your Crazy Self, it's an easy read.
Yeah, it's a good read,
It's
too.
it's an easy read, and I want to tell you that Randy Gutenberger is a great friend of mine and ours.
Well, I think that's my personal copy.
That is your personal copy. It says, no, this one says to BJ. This is BJ
Oh, that's
Nelson's
BJ
copy.
Nelson's copy.
BJ Nelson has made no effort to manage her crazy self, and we see that every day. So feel free to, this is BJ's copy, but I have several copies. If you'd like one and you're willing to come by 205 and a half, we're here and we can get you a copy
Downstairs.
for free. But this is, this is a book that helps you identify and about honest to goodness.
How to relieve anxiety in your life.
I'm not exaggerating that no matter how deeply intellectual you are, and I'm not, when you get into this book about 4 or 5 pages in, you start going, yeah, that's me. Hey, that makes sense. I'm going to keep reading. I read the whole book in one sitting,
It doesn't take
not
long.
on a toilet. I mean, I read the whole
No,
book.
well, you would have. Your legs would have gone. Melissa Hanson wants one. Look at that.
They're also at Amazon.com. I don't know, Melissa. No, I'm kidding. Yes, we've got one for you. Plan on it. Let's get together. We'll get it for you.
Yeah. I
But
like
you
the
know-
tactic in there. You name your crazy when you start feeling anxious and things are going awry. And I name mine Rufus.
I do want to throw something out just so
Oh, there you go. He says, no, we now have children's books too, and he'll present these to you next week. He's
good.
stopping by next week.
We'd
Awesome.
love to see you, sir. We've
Always-
moved locations,
yeah.
but give us a call. We'll let you come by.
Always one of our better, I shouldn't say better, but probably one of the segments we get the most feedback on is Randy's here
Oh,
because
yeah.
he takes calls and questions from people.
He's just such a fine gentleman and such a smart guy.
We're going to put you to work, Randy.
Yeah, this may not be
Come
popular
early.
with you, knowing what a hater you are, but I do want to give you something that matters to me on a personal level. Tammy Keeling is a very, very, very smart and educated woman. And when you start talking about,
Dangerous combination.
it is, but right here, she says, those hiring undocumented workers are undercutting those who hire lawfully.
Don't disagree.
When you start peeling back the layers, oh, well, those are low hanging fruit. Oh, yeah, but shouldn't you punish the employer? And should there be maybe, for example, a tax break for people who only hire documented Americans? Is there a way to motivate people to do what's right? Because apparently nowadays nobody does what's right simply because it's right. You've got to incentivize them to do so. It's the same exact thing when you get into the school voucher deal. It is not an easy open or close door. How do we deal with the best and brightest? How do we not dumb down our education system? What do we do with SPED? What do we do with the special needs kids? Who funds this? Why don't the private schools have to take the poor and downtrodden? How is it that we can't compete at the public school level because we can't just boot a kid out, but St. Joe can? All these things start to really complicate something other than I'm at this school. I'd like for my kid to go to that school. I pay taxes. Is there any way I could just kind of take that money and go use it over there? So I can't afford to be double dipped. I can't afford to pay you $2,000 a year in taxes and pay for my kid's private school.
And we kind of allow that already if you're in VISD and you want to go to ISD industrial, you can do that.
Randy, when you come, bring some more Managing Your Crazy Self books. I've got a whole list of people here that want them. I'm not saying they wouldn't buy them. I'm saying I promised them a free copy. Bring a box, bro. You know how it is.
What are you saying? We got a bunch of crazy people listening to us?
We got them, Melissa Hansen and Renee Medding. But I think it's interesting that only the women have the courage to admit, I would like to enhance myself.
Junior says too many variables, not a simple fix. I don't know if he's talking about his crazy self or what we're talking about.
Well, I
here
think
with
for
the
sure on the
illegal
mental health
immigration.
side, Junior has way too many variables.
It does make me wonder, though, because everybody's complaining about the Mexican restaurants that have closed down. How has that How is the hiring of illegals in the restaurant and the food industry allowed us to keep paying wait staff $2.80 an hour? Oh, but they get tips.
If
Come
people
on.
tip.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. But see, that's a whole nother, not issue. It's a whole nother extension of, it's kind of like one of those if-then things.
There's your
If
wage
this is the
suppression.
case, then go here. If not, go here. You know, it's
It's like those little paper things when you're
never
in
did good in
elementary.
those in school.
I could never fold them. I could work them all
with
right.
your fingers.
Pick a number.
My
1, 2,
mother
3,
told me
4.
to ask you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Junior says he's bat snap crazy, but he's lovable. Both. One's not debatable. One is.
That's the second time today that Junior Samples has posted on there that he's lovable. I think
Linda must be mad
Maybe
at
he
him.
and Linda are having
Yeah,
problems.
Linda must be mad at him.
He tried to tell Tammy Keeling, who would absolutely pierce his temple with an ice pick repeatedly. She would look like Psycho. Junior would be grappling at the shower curtain, naked. Scary.
Getting back to the DOGE thing, there's an interesting article
You
on
just had to
ABC.
do it.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of low-hanging fruit,
Yeah.
let's get back to government programs.
Elon Musk. Here's the headline on ABC News. Elon Musk trolls critics and federal workers as DOGE targets U.S. agencies. He posted on X nearly 200 times over 24 hours, according to an ABC News review.
He owns X. He's
Yeah.
just posted on his own Facebook page.
So,
Why do they
instead
even have to mention this? As billionaire Elon Musk and his team of young tech engineers rip through the federal government.
you know how brilliant some of these young tech engineers that he's got working for him
There
are?
aren't any really old tech engineers
his
because
tech
it
isn't
didn't
that-
exist. He's doing it all with his signature trolling, mocking his critics and targets along the way.
Musk is essentially live tweeting his Department of Government Efficiency efforts targeting agencies, posting nearly 200 times in a 24-hour period alone from Tuesday and Wednesday, according to a review by ABC News. So that's the second paragraph of the story.
Not the most photogenic guy.
No. Throughout the entire story,
Yeah.
nowhere do they actually talk about the
Any.
things that he's finding.
None. They don't talk about any of that.
Nothing.
Do you remember, did y'all have in Canada, unknown to Speed, his older brother Rex is really Racer X? Did you have
I don't remember.
Speed
I think.
Racer?
Yeah, we did, but I didn't really
Be
watch.
small.
Wasn't
Speed
a big-
Racer check.
wasn't a
Did you
big-
have that in the
wasn't a big
Metroplex?
Speed Racer fan.
Oh, well, see, Speed Racer was funny because you're talking about racism. Speed was a Japanese
It was anime stuff.
cartoon. Yes, way, way, way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And they had Trixie and Pops, and they all had huge round eyes because they were American, big round eyes.
That's just anime. That's the way they do it.
Right. Well, that's the way they do it now. Speed was doing it 50 years, 60 years ago. That's what I'm saying. And he had the
40,000
powerful- he had the
employees
Mark
accepting
V.
their separation agreement. That's about 2% of the 2 million workers who received the offer. My understanding is maybe because of the runway in this, where they can work till September to get paid or keep getting paid till September.
Yeah, they can work from home.
Yeah.
They're basically just saying stay home.
Yeah, they get the 30. They get their 30. There's your 30-day notice right there. Not surprised that Trump's takeover of Gaza not being well received
Just some
in the
background.
Middle East.
In the blue one.
Got nothing.
You got it now. That's not it.
I thought you were playing Speed Racer.
I was trying to.
Oh, okay.
It says
I was
original
gonna say,
mo-
wow.
motion picture. Here, now do that one.
There it is.
Turn it up a little bit. Can you see him just going around the road? Louder. Give me more. Give me 11.
Here's the distraction as the folks at NOAA are a little upset over who might come in to lead that agency.
The demon on wheels.
He was white.
Chasing after someone. Where's Micah?
This is terrible. What is this?
Speed Racer theme song. So you don't know it.
You're
do
so
you?
young.
What are you, 40?
Yeah.
You 40-ish?
Yes, sir.
So Speed Racer was already off. Scooby Doo was on, and Shaggy was eating mushrooms by the time you came along. They were grooming you.
I think that was on before Speed Racer.
Nothing better
here's
than
the latest.
Flintstones,
Here's the latest distraction, though. Another progression of winter storms expected across the eastern half of the U.S. over the
Climate
next 2
change.
weeks.
Donald Trump's fault.
Atmospheric river-fueled storms.
Oh, the atmospheric river. That's, when you see about the jet stream, that's what it used to be, but jet's no longer. By the way, did you see where yesterday we had another jet, a Japanese Airlines plane?
Clipped a Delta plane.
And all of a sudden, though, this is huge news. I don't know how to tell you folks this. Honestly. This happens almost every day. I've been on a plane where a guy was driving one of those little mules and he had the luggage things behind him and he went under our wing, boom, and he drug it. I felt the plane kind of go, gunk, and it didn't move much. Plane weighs 500,000 pounds. They had to come out literally came out and put a new piece of aluminum on there and riveted it in. And then it didn't take them 20 minutes. You know why? Because it happens all the time. But now it's like, it's chaos.
Yeah, but planes don't get other
anarchy.
planes.
FAA, it's all because of Trump. Trump should have been there for that. Probably would have been in a foreign country, wouldn't
We're
it?
just looking for this stuff.
I don't know.
President Trump yesterday taking executive action, signed an executive order keeping men out of women's sports.
Hey, how
order.
novel is that? And the fact that we have to have an executive order to do it blows my mind.
Yep.
By the way, what kind of man do you have to be to say, I'm open, give me the ball, get out of the way, Lucy? I think I could have played at UConn. Come on.
Jared McCurgan says outrage at Musk finding wasteful spending, not outrage at the wasteful spending by the. That's exactly. They're not mad at it because they're mad at Musk because he's exposing.
That's right.
What they've done to stay in power so long.
The left's cookie jar has been tumbled.
It's not
That's
just the
exactly
left.
what
That's
it
the
is.
scary part. It's
Well,
not
the
just
government's
left.
cookie jar.
Yeah.
H.R. Mallory adding to the education says, Tammy, also make it where the districts can't take up to 50% of the money the state provides for SPED kids attendance to not spend on other district spending items. Solid.
Where's the P? Where's the P? Melissa Hansen said her dad called yesterday, left her a nasty voicemail about Trump and Gaza with his sons in the military. She says she's a Trump supporter. He's
Melissa,
not. He
just
is mad.
send us your dad's address and we'll have the guys go by and pick him up.
Yeah.
We'll have them pick him up. It's that easy.
Randy Gutenberger asked, I wonder how many local shows like this in Texas are having these discussions.
Not many, actually.
don't
I mean,
think,
in
yeah.
all fairness, we're one of the few. We're certainly the only live drive time topical program in this whole metroplex. No doubt about it. You'd have to go to Michael Berry in Houston. I don't think there's one of this much of a thoughtful nature in San Antonio. It's not popular. It's not popular until you want to actually listen. You educate us, we educate you. All we do is provide the subjects, and we have experts that listen on every level. See, I'm convinced that Tammy has a lot of these things programmed, and she's very high tech. We've read that comment so many times. I'm not going to read it, but she drags them over.
No, but you know what? I'll debunk that. I'll debunk that because I don't know anybody who's paying $2,000 in property taxes in this state. Certainly not in this city.
Says if you pay $2,000 in taxes and have two kids with vouchers, you now have $18,000 of others' tax dollars, not yours.
Welcome to what Calhoun's dealt with every year when they've had to send their money from their district to other poor districts.
Without same requirements for use of public funds. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. Oh, look, Chim Chim. That was the little monkey that was Steve.
Although I
that
thought
was
there
Speed
were
Racer.
requirements. You can't just take the money and go blow it on a weekend at Coushatta.
Right. No, you can't. But if you've got a sure thing, I know a guy. I know it. Give me my voucher. Sorry, kid, you're going back to public school. Why? Dad lost your money at the voucher money ball game. We haven't gotten around to it yet. It is Thursday. I want to kind of tease this a little bit for Patrick Strauss. What are we going to, yes, I can bring your book to bingo. I promise. Help me remember. I'm convinced that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. But Saquon Barkley, what are we going to do?
I don't know. I agree.
Wow.
I agree.
Tammy Kennedy says, simple. Do you want your tax dollars paying for private schools? I will answer that with this. My tax dollars have been paying for public school all my life. And in my opinion, it's gotten worse. So why keep throwing good money after bad? And why are we having such an uproar over the potential of 150,000 kids out of 5.5 million? It's not like 5 million out of 5.5 million are going to opt to go to a
I'll be honest,
school.
I have bigger concerns. The state, which by all measurable measures, in the bottom half to bottom third of this country in education, K-12 education output, is now going to ruin our private schools.
Yeah.
There's one.
True. Well, look, the outflow of Victorians to the industrial district has dumbed down the district. There's no getting around it. Zed Stewart says, bingo, when is it this month? It's next Thursday, 7 o'clock at Palace Bingo. Folks, we got to roll.
Yeah, we do.
Top of the hour. Love you guys.
We'll pick it up again tomorrow.
Hey, thanks so much to everybody that contributed today. Have a great day.
Bye, folks.
Bye.